I know that we're going to have a lot of information given to you today, so you just stick around. You're going to know more about FEMA than you ever wanted to, but it's going to make you sound very intelligent on the street. I have Rich Hedges here, who's a property owner.
Hi, Bobby.
And I have Brandt Grotte, who is our mayor of San Mateo.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm doing great. I'm just loving this little microphone thingy, but we'll work through it. Listen, would one of you please just tell me what are we doing and what is the viable solution to the tidal flooding?
Yeah, we have an opportunity coming up where we'll be able to vote on a self-assessment district, and the money raised from that self-assessment would then enable us to repair the levees and would actually eliminate the tidal flooding hazard, and also allow us to either maintain low flood insurance rates or possibly even drop our flood insurance.
Well, Rich, you and I share the same complex, and this has been an ongoing saga of expensive flood insurance. Tell our constituents what's going on here.
Well, we're having millions of dollars taken out of our economy to go back to Washington, D.C. by paying flood insurance, and also we have a danger of flooding. And I think we've found a solution to repair that and get us out of the flood district and let us stop paying flood insurance.
Well, would one of you like to grab the ball and run with it as to what this is all about? Because people are going to say, oh, you know, what assurances do we have if we go and do what FEMA asks us to do that they're actually going to come through and drop it?
Yeah, I'll take that one. We have in hand what's called a CLOMAR. It's a conditional letter of map revision. And it, in essence, is FEMA's promise that if we build what we said we would build in the manner we said we'd build it, that they would be willing to revise the flood map. So we have, in essence, a guarantee that once the improvements are made, we can get rid of the flooding, at least for a portion of San Mateo, a significant portion. And from my own personal perspective, I live just south of San Mateo Creek in the flood zone. So if I pay $86 a year for the assessment, then I can avoid paying for $1,400 a year of insurance if I want to. Or even better, it'll stay at the low rate of $350 for the maximum insurance. And that I'm willing to pay, but not $1,400.
Now, how did you arrive at an $86 mark as opposed to a $1,400 for insurance?
Well, we're not going to be paying insurance. We're going to build our way out of this. The south levees need to be repaired, and there are several places where the repair has to take place. The city has already done a lot of the repair that needs to be done to get us out of the flood area. However, there are still some repairs that have to be made, and they have no more money. And we need to raise the money, and we're going to do that through a special assessment district. And it's a group of homeowners, not the city, who are arranging to have this special assessment district put on the ballot.
Okay, and what areas does it impact?
The areas that would benefit are all the areas south of San Mateo Creek. And the original flood map only goes to 92. It artificially kind of stops there. There is a preliminary map that's being published next year, mid-year or first quarter, which would extend the flood zone into Foster City and also to the entire southern portion of San Mateo. So we want to avoid that, if at all possible. Those people don't have to pay flood insurance right now. So we can do this for, in the case of a townhouse or condo, it might be as little as $40 a year for the assessment. The maximum for a single-family property is like mine, which would be about $86. And that's a very cheap investment to avoid paying $1,400 a year for insurance.
And I just wanted to point one thing out, being in real estate the last 30 years, that when they say you need flood insurance, they mean that for the lenders. And I know that you did bring it up about the fact that what would somebody do if they already had their home paid off?
I'll take that. Well, if they already have their home paid off, they can choose not to pay flood insurance. But the problem with that is if they have to pay it later, for instance, they need a reverse mortgage or a home equity loan, a child gets in trouble, they need money for medical problems, they will be forced to pay $1,800 a year or more because it's more expensive if you wait to get into the flood insurance program. But there are many other issues besides the cost of the insurance around the flooding issue. Stop and think what happens when Foster City goes into it. You have Gilead, who's planning on expanding their campus. You have Visa. I talked to one of their principals yesterday, and they're very concerned about it. Will they leave? This is not just $1,500 or $1,800 a year to them. This is millions.
Given the size of those buildings.
Right, and so we have an issue of whether we're not only going to stop economic development, but whether we're going to kill what's here or not if we don't repair this.
Well, what do we do to get this going?
Starting approximately April 29th, there will be a mail ballot that comes out, and all we have to do is check the yes box, sign the form, and send it back in. And once we have 50% yes vote plus 1% or one extra vote, the measure passes. The fees will go on your normal property tax bill, and it won't be that much, and we'll be able to get the problem fixed probably by mid next year.
So we need to rally the troops on the yes vote.
Right, we do. We need to rally the troops. We need volunteers. We need money. And
Just took my next question. How can you get involved?
can't rally the troops without money. We need money to do mailings. We need money to buy water and food for people who are going to walk precincts and talk to their neighbors. And so we began raising money, but we simply don't have enough money. And I think Brandt knows the P.O. box that folks can send checks to.
I do, actually. Our group name is called San Mateo FACT, and FACT is for Flood Assessment Correction Team. And the P.O. Box is 762 in San Mateo, and the zip code is 94401. We also have an email address through Gmail that is sanmateofact@gmail.com, and people can send us an email if they'd like to help us walk neighborhoods or volunteer in other ways. We'd just love to have the assistance, because this is really important. We can solve this problem and avoid having to pay for flood insurance in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And don't put it off till next week. Do it now if you're going to help, because this is going to happen rapidly. Ballots will be out by the 1st of May at the latest.
Yeah.
It is really critical, as somebody is really concerned about housing values and what people do on the outside, what government does that impacts the value of the home. And I don't want to see it. I wasn't happy that it arbitrarily stopped at 92 the last time, but I don't want to see the other islands pulled in and have all that money go to FEMA, another federal institution that's getting our local dollars.
Well, it doesn't come back here. It's like it's if you stop and think, at least some of the money that we send in our taxes to the federal government comes back here. I can't remember any time FEMA has put any money into this area.
Mm-hmm. Brandt, do you have anything else you want to say as the mayor?
Well, I just really strongly encourage people to vote yes on this. It's a simple math equation. It's either $350 to $1,400 or higher versus a maximum of $40 to $86, and that just makes sense to me. And aside from that, Rich brought up earlier the fact that we really need to protect our properties. That's what it's really about. If a flood ever does happen, it's going to just destroy our lives. My life, your life, Rich's life, and we don't need to go through that. We can prevent this problem with a physical engineered fix, and let's just vote yes and get it over with.
If you think of this area, look at the levees. We're in a big bathtub. Mm-hmm. And if there is ever a hole in the bathtub, we're all going to be underwater, not just one or two of us. And if that happens, or if we have a disaster, one of the really bad things about this is that you have to raise all of your property above the floodplain. So that means everybody's going to have to put their homes on piers or raise it by hauling dirt in. If your home is partially destroyed, even before a flood by earthquake or fire, you will have to do the same thing to rebuild. It will start to destroy the fabric of our community.
Well, you both gave wonderful points as to this, and I don't think there's anything that we haven't covered. Is there anything that you'd like to add?
No, I think that's it. Vote yes.
Just help and vote yes.
Help and vote yes. Go get those go walk those precincts. Go give money, whatever it takes. But we do need those yes votes.
The check should be made out to Rick Seguda, comma, FACT. And that's it. And then sent to the P.O. Box?
P.O. Box 762, San Mateo, California, 94401.
Terrific, and good luck. I hope to see you at the victory party.